Let me share some powerful reminders with you today. There was a man who had a heated argument with his wife. In a fit of rage, he grabbed a plate and hurled it at her. Thankfully, his wife managed to duck, but the plate struck their young daughter, who was just 6 or 7 years old, leaving a mark on her neck. Though the injury wasn't severe, the next day her teacher noticed the mark and innocently asked what happened. The child, not knowing the gravity of her words, narrated everything. Authorities were alerted, and soon after they came to the house, took all the children away, and placed them with a non-Muslim family. Another brother once shared his story with me after we left the masjid together. As I offered to drop him home, he gave me unusual directions, avoiding his usual route. Curious, I asked him why, and he confessed, "Last night I had a major argument with my wife. I uttered the words of divorce." He paused, then added, "The real issue is, this was my third divorce." These are just a couple of stories among many that demonstrate the destructive power of anger. A young man once pushed his father during an argument. His father fell down a flight of stairs, breaking his arm. Situations like these aren't uncommon, and they highlight the havoc that unchecked anger can wreak. The destructive force of anger. Anger is an intense emotion that often clouds judgment and fuels a desire for revenge or harm. It's a force that has shattered countless homes, sparked devastating wars, severed lifelong friendships, and torn apart families. How often have words spoken in anger led to deep regrets? Truly, as the saying goes, the beginning of anger is madness, and its end is regret. One of the righteous predecessors remarked, "The person closest to the wrath of Allah is the one who succumbs to their anger." Yet some people take pride in their anger, warning others, "Stay away from me when I'm angry." But if we translate this into Islamic terms, it essentially means they're allowing Shaitan to become their closest companion in moments of rage. Shaitan thrives when we lose control, especially during prayer, at work, or within our homes. He takes over, robbing us of peace and sowing discord. If you were to look at yourself in a mirror during a fit of anger, you might not even recognize the person staring back at you. The strength in self-control. It's not difficult to get angry. That's the easy part. Anyone can yell, curse, or retaliate. The real challenge lies in restraining oneself when provoked. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, illustrated this beautifully when he asked his companions, "Do you know who the strongest among you is?" They replied, "The one who defeats others in wrestling." The Prophet, peace be upon him, corrected them, saying, "No, the strongest is the one who controls themselves when they are angry." Anger is a natural human emotion, much like sadness or joy. It's not about erasing anger, but about how we manage it. Acting on anger, whether through harsh words or physical actions, is what leads to destruction. Examples from the righteous. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, set the ultimate example in controlling anger. Once, while distributing the spoils of war, a Bedouin grabbed him roughly by the collar, leaving marks on his neck, and demanded, "Give me my share. This isn't your money or your father's money." Umar ibn al-Khattab, standing nearby, was ready to draw his sword, but the Prophet, peace be upon him, calmly diffused the situation and gave the man what he asked for. Similarly, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, a caliph ruling over a vast empire, once accidentally stepped on a man sleeping in a mosque. The man angrily shouted, "Are you crazy?" The caliph's guards were ready to punish him, but Umar stopped them, saying, "He only asked me a question. Why should I be angry?" True believers are likened to trees full of fruit. When struck by stones, they don't retaliate, but instead offer their fruit. Imam Shabi demonstrated this when a man cursed him loudly in public. Remaining calm, the Imam simply replied, "If what you say about me is true, may Allah forgive me. If it is false, may Allah forgive you." Practical tips for managing anger. The Prophet, peace be upon him, provided us with timeless guidance on controlling anger. Seek refuge in Allah. When you feel anger rising, say, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitan irrajim." I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed shaitan. This simple act reminds us of shaitan's role in fueling our rage. Silence is golden. When provoked, resist the urge to respond immediately. Hold back your tongue. Write that email, but don't send it. Draft the message, but revisit it later. Words spoken in anger often lead to regret. Change your physical state. The Prophet, peace be upon him, advised, if you are standing, sit down. If you are sitting, lie down. This physical shift can help dissipate the intensity of anger. Perform ablution, wudu. Anger stems from fire, and water extinguishes fire. Performing wudu can have a calming effect on the mind and body. Remember the rewards. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, whoever controls their anger, despite having the ability to act on it, Allah will fill their heart with contentment on the day of judgment. Reflect on this promise when anger threatens to overwhelm you. Surround yourself with reminders. A ruler once instructed his minister to hand him a note whenever he showed signs of anger. The note read, remember Allah's wrath when you are angry. Such reminders can help keep emotions in check. Anger's impact on relationships. Unchecked anger doesn't just harm the individual, it affects those around them. Families can feel like they're walking on eggshells, afraid of triggering an outburst. Is this the environment we want in our homes? The Prophet, peace be upon him, emphasized gentleness and kindness, especially within families. Praiseworthy anger. Not all anger is blameworthy. There is a form of anger that is righteous. Anger for the sake of Allah. When we witness injustices, oppression, or the violation of Allah's commands, feeling anger is natural and even commendable. However, even in such cases, our response must remain guided by wisdom and patience. Anger is a powerful force, but with the right tools and mindset, it can be managed effectively. By following the example of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and implementing the strategies he taught, we can transform anger into an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. May Allah help us control our anger, fill our homes with peace and tranquility, and protect us and our families from harm. Remember, every effort to restrain anger is a step toward earning Allah's pleasure. Anger as a test of character. Anger is a test of one's character and patience. It reveals the state of our hearts and our level of self-discipline. In moments of anger, our true selves emerge. Are we quick to lash out, or do we pause, reflect, and choose restraint? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us that true strength lies not in physical power, but in self-control. This lesson is particularly important in today's world, where many people equate power with dominance and aggression. However, in the eyes of Allah, the strongest person is the one who suppresses their anger and acts with wisdom. Understanding the triggers of anger. To manage anger effectively, we must first understand its triggers. Anger often arises from unmet expectations, misunderstandings, or feelings of injustice. While some triggers may be external, a rude remark, a stressful situation, others stem from internal struggles such as pride, insecurity, or unresolved emotions. By identifying these triggers, we can better prepare ourselves to respond calmly and thoughtfully. This self-awareness is a critical step towards self-improvement and spiritual growth. The ripple effect of anger. Anger doesn't just affect the individual experiencing it, its consequences ripple outward, impacting relationships, families, and communities. A single moment of uncontrolled anger can lead to words or actions that cannot be undone. Consider a family where one member frequently loses their temper. Over time, this creates an environment of fear and tension. Children may grow up feeling insecure, spouses may feel unloved, and the family bond weakens. In such cases, anger becomes a destructive force that erodes trust and love. Similarly, in the workplace, an angry outburst can damage professional relationships and tarnish one's reputation. Communities, too, can suffer when anger leads to conflicts and divisions. Steps to prevent anger practice. Empathy. Often anger arises from a lack of understanding. Before reacting, try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. This can help de-escalate conflicts and foster compassion. Develop patience. Patience is a virtue that can shield us from the pitfalls of anger. The Quran repeatedly emphasizes the importance of patience, urging believers to endure difficulties with steadfastness and hope. Engage in regular remembrance of Allah. The remembrance of Allah, or dhikr, has a calming effect on the soul. When we remember Allah in moments of anger, it reminds us of our purpose and keeps us grounded. Seek knowledge and wisdom. Learning about anger and its consequences can motivate us to change our behavior. Reflecting on the stories of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his companions provides valuable lessons on managing emotions. Build healthy communication skills. Sometimes anger arises from an inability to express feelings constructively. Developing strong communication skills can help us articulate our thoughts without resorting to harsh words or actions. A powerful story of forgiveness. One of the most powerful examples of anger, management, and forgiveness comes from the life of the prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him. Betrayed by his brothers who threw him into a well and left him for dead, Yusuf, peace be upon him, endured unimaginable hardships. Yet when he rose to a position of power and his brothers sought his forgiveness, he responded with kindness, saying, "No blame will there be upon you today. Allah will forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful." Quran 12:92. This story reminds us of the power of forgiveness and the beauty of rising above anger and resentment. The role of dua in managing anger, dua, or supplication, is a powerful tool for seeking Allah's help in controlling anger. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us specific duas for moments of anger, including, "O Allah, forgive me my sins, remove the anger from my heart, and protect me from the evil of my soul." Another beautiful dua is, "O Allah, make me just and truthful in my anger and in my pleasure." These supplications not only help calm the heart, but also strengthen our connection with Allah, turning anger into a force for good. While destructive anger can lead to harm, righteous anger can inspire positive change. When channeled correctly, anger can fuel efforts to address injustice, protect the oppressed, and uphold the truth. For example, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, displayed righteous anger when the sanctities of Allah were violated. However, even in such cases, his actions were measured, just, and aimed at correcting the wrongdoing. As believers, we should strive to emulate this balanced approach. Let our anger be for the sake of Allah, and let it motivate us to stand against oppression and promote goodness. Creating a culture of kindness. One of the best ways to combat anger is to cultivate a culture of kindness and forgiveness. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Allah is gentle and loves gentleness in all matters." Imagine a world where people respond to provocation with patience, where families resolve conflicts with understanding, and where communities come together to support one another. Such a world begins with individual efforts to control anger and practice compassion. A final call to action. Brothers and sisters, anger is a natural emotion, but it is also a test. Every time we succeed in controlling our anger, we take a step closer to earning Allah's pleasure. Let us strive to embody the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who exemplified patience, forgiveness, and self-control. May Allah help us restrain our anger, purify our hearts, and fill our lives with peace and tranquility. Let us be among those who are beloved to Allah, those who control their anger and forgive others. And remember, you can deepen your understanding of Islam and draw inspiration from countless stories, lectures, and documentaries by downloading our app, One Islam TV. Experience the beauty of your faith in a new way. Download it today and start your journey toward a more peaceful and fulfilling life.